If you haven't visited our website at prisonprofessors.com, then I really encourage you to do so. On the homepage, you're going to see the story of a friend of mine. His name is Halim Flowers. And Halim was serving a double life sentence in prison. While serving that double life sentence in prison, he maintained hope and commitment. Commitment to working toward becoming the best possible human being he could become. Commitment toward reconciling with society by building a body of work that would reflect or demonstrate his commitment to emerging as a law-abiding, contributing citizen. Remember, started with a double life sentence and never gave up hope. If you don't know Halim's story, I'm going to encourage you, visit us at prisonprofessors.com. You'll see his picture right at the top of the website, and you'll see this guy that was incarcerated for 22 years before a judge realized prison is no longer right for him. There's a better outcome for him. There's a better use for him in society. And if this person could go through 22 years and maintain hope and commitment every day while serving a double life sentence, what does that say about you? What does that say about what you can do? That's what our lessons at Prison Professors are all about. My name is Michael Santos, and I am the founder of Prison Professors. And I create these digital content, these lessons, with hopes of you pursuing a self-directed path, just like Halim did, to transform your life. Remember, it is a self-directed path. And whether you're at the start of the journey, trying to figure out how are you going to influence the judge to get a better outcome, whether you're in jail or prison and thinking about how can you influence the system to get out at the soonest possible time and rebuild your life, or whether you're outside already and striving to build a better life, you've got to learn the strategies. These are the strategies that leaders taught me, and those strategies empowered me through 9,500 days in prison. I believe they can empower you as well. That's why we create the daily discussion. And today's blurb on the daily discussion, we're going to talk about Mario Andretti, the famous race car driver who wrote about the power of commitment. Desire is the key to motivation, but it is determination and commitment to an unrelenting pursuit of your goal, a commitment to excellence that will enable you to attain the success that you seek. Now, where can you apply that great lesson from Mario Andretti? Rather, a better question is, in what area of your life would that lesson not apply? I challenge you to find it, because the more you live a life of commitment and intention, the stronger you are going to become. The stronger you are going to build your mindset, just like Halim Flowers had to do when he was working through a double life sentence. Now let me turn to today's lesson, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Halim on the other side. So, fables of war give us stories that reveal the importance of commitment. Although I don't recall the author, I remember reading about a conqueror from the ancient world. The leader's ships landed at the enemy's shore. After the warriors disembarked, the commander ordered his chief to burn all the ships. The leader wanted his soldiers to see that they would fight and win or die. They committed themselves by ensuring there wouldn't be an exit plan. After starting a lengthy prison term, I felt as if I were in a war of my own. My enemy was not another person, but the predicament I had to conquer. I made a 100% commitment to succeed. We all have to gauge our commitment. When we make such a commitment, we start by understanding what success means. We don't all define success in the same way. As a young man, I understood that I would be in prison for 26 years. If nothing changed. I also realized that the longer a person stayed in prison, the less likely that person would succeed upon release. Society has a preconceived idea about the character and abilities of a person that spent time in prison. As a result, fewer opportunities would open. With few opportunities, people getting out of prison would be more vulnerable to legal problems. High recidivism rates disturbed me, as they should trouble all justice-impacted people. Statistics showed that more than 6 out of every 10 people returned to confinement after release. I made a 100% commitment to prepare for success. Like a general that burned his ships, I cut ties to any activity and person that could threaten my prospects for success. I kept journals to measure progress every day. I stayed intentional about developing skills that could help me overcome the war I had with recidivism rates. The strategy required that I document a solid plan to help me overcome. I anticipated the people that would influence my future. At some point, a probation officer would affect how much liberty I had. An employer would determine whether my prison term should block me from a job or a career path. A lender may use my criminal history to gauge whether to provide me with capital. By understanding these challenges, I could prepare. I concentrated on fundamentals like communication skills and critical thinking skills. Documenting all my decisions would help me build a chronology. By creating a record, I anticipated that I would overcome people's objections or preconceived notions about my level of commitment. That strategy helped me to build confidence and self-esteem. Commitment enabled me to gauge the opportunity costs associated with every decision. During the final decade of my imprisonment, I taught many classes in the prisons that held me. I'd always ask the men in the room how many would return to prison after release. Not a single hand went up. With further questioning and prompting, one person would inevitably say, "I am going to try to do the right thing when I get out. But if things don't work out, I am going to do what a man has to do." In my mind, such a statement reflected the opposite of a 100% commitment to success. That mindset contributed to high rates of failure for people who emerge from prison. How would you gauge your commitment to success? What actions are you taking to show your dedication? In what ways will your commitment level influence how others respond to you? And in what ways do your daily activities reveal your commitment to excellence? What makes the decisions you have made over the past month part of your methodical plan to prepare for success? The word of the day is disembark. Define disembark and use disembark in a sentence. I told you that I would tell you more about my friend Halim Flowers and how his commitment led to success on an unprecedented scale. This is a man who at 16 years old went into the federal prison system with a double life sentence. But rather than giving up, he focused on investing in himself and developing skills. He became a gifted artist and a talented author, and he published a number of books. And at the time that he had served 22 years, without ever knowing that he would ever get another opportunity to go before a judge, the opportunity opened. Meaning the hard work that he did while he was incarcerated, because he knew how to make a commitment, put him in a great new state. It put him in an algorithm where a judge could look at him. And that judge looked at him and decided, prison is not the place for you anymore. You came into this system at 16 years old, and after 22 years, you've developed talents, you've developed tools, you've developed resources that can lead you to becoming a law-abiding, contributing citizen. And if you're watching this on the internet, I encourage you to visit at halimflowers.com. You will see a man who was once serving a double life sentence, but today is one of the most talented artists and up-and-coming artists in the world. So successful that even the Queen of England bought his paintings. So successful that investors and art collectors pay tens of thousands of dollars to purchase his paintings. This was a man who was serving a double life sentence not long ago, but because of commitment, even when nobody else was around to congratulate him, even when he didn't know when he would get out of prison, he mustered the strength to work on himself, just like you can do. So I encourage you, if you're listening to this program on iTunes or you're watching this program on YouTube, visit us at prisonprofessors.com and read a little bit more about Halim Flowers. Funny part of that story is if you watch the video I did with Halim, while he was in prison, he said that a warden introduced him to our programs, and that had an influence on his journey. And what he always told me is something that's I'll always remember, and there's a lot of truth to it. He said, "You're not the hero to this story. Your wife, Carol, is the hero." And if you visit our website at Prison Professors and you learn more about the journey, you'll know why Carol is the hero of our story. In any event, this is not about us. This is about you. And I am wishing you a successful journey. So visit us at prisonprofessors.com. Make sure that you subscribe. And if you're in prison, work through all of our courses so you can reach your highest outcome. Thanks.